So I was just having a conversation with the dean of LIU Global, and we were talking about AI. And there's something that is scary with AI, which is that it kind of replaces your brain in a certain way. It doesn't actually do that, but it gives you this kind of idea or this sense that you don't really need to work as hard and you can just kind of ask AI or have AI write the thing or do the thing that you're wanting to do. And we were talking about this because as a recent college graduate and as somebody who loves to learn, I think it's important that people continue to actually learn. And with the ever increasing presence of AI in the way that people learn, there's some weird, there's a big shift going on in the world of education, and especially in the world of traditional education, where you have a certain way of doing things, where you have your homework and your tests and your readings and all of those things, and you're kind of expected to do it a certain way. The students don't necessarily want to do all of the work. They might not be interested in everything. And now you have this option to not do all the work and to send a little message to Claude or to ChatGPT and say, hey, write this thing for me, and give it the context, send it your syllabus, and it'll do it for you. And now what do you learn from that? Well, really not much, except for you pick up some bad habits. I think that the benefits are very small in that sense. But how do we instill in humans that the process of learning, although it's hard, is good for you? It's not everybody likes doing math, but you take a bunch of math classes and then suddenly you know how to think in more complex or abstract ways. Maybe not abstract, but I don't know. You take a writing class and now the way that you think has changed. But you send a message to ChatGPT and not really much has changed except you haven't learned anything. And that's something about the future that kind of scares me, is that going down the route that we seem to be going, it feels as though people are going to slowly forget how to think and how to write and how to read and I guess it's critical thinking is the biggest one. It's like you have this genius in your pocket. This isn't the reality, but you have this genius in your pocket and you can ask it any question and it'll answer that question for you. And why not believe it? Why question it? But, this is something that I thought of, or that I was talking about yesterday and 2 days ago, that idea of questioning your beliefs and why that's important. And it's funny because this is another example of a belief that you should question, or not a belief that you should question, but something that you should question. You don't need to just take everything that AI says as the truth, even if it might be true, or because it's probably true. I guess over time it will get more true, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is, what is it? What is the point I'm trying to make? Well, I think there is a danger that comes with okay, write this thing for me. What? I just got a weird notification. There's a danger that comes with having AI do something for you. You're like, okay, well, I want it to write this for me, or I want it to create this idea or make this plan. And thinking that okay, now that is the right thing to do because AI is smart. But you didn't put any thought into the thing that you are doing. And so now you're just following the lead of some robot that is suggesting things based on what it thinks you might want to hear, or based on what it is programmed to do, which is also very interesting. The way, at least from my very limited understanding, the way that AI, large language models, are designed is to give you the answer that, like, I guess it's the most likely answer or something along those lines, where essentially you say something and then it gives you the response that is most likely to be the response that you are looking for. And the better it gets, the better those responses will be. But it is just taking what information is out there and spitting it back to you. Just kind of like when you're writing a sentence and then you are like, I can't wait. It's probably going to have, like, in the 3 little words at the top of the text thing, 2 is probably going to be the next word. I can't wait 2 or 4. And it's kind of doing that with a whole response. And so doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean that, okay, great, now I have the information that I need and this is exactly the truth. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, like, it's still good for us. I think it's vital that we continue to question these things and to not just replace our brains with AI. You know, I'm someone that uses ChatGPT and I guess Claude a good amount, but there's a difference between, I don't know what a good example or what a good analogy is. It's like you can be the person who is in the orchestra, or like you can be the person that is on the machine line and is doing what you are told because somebody told you to do it. Or you can be the person that is orchestrating. No, that's not a good example. I don't freaking know. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you can either use it to make the things that you are already doing yourself more effective, I guess. Because it is good at certain things. Like, you can plan something a little bit better. Or you can make a really big project less complex. But then there are other things where you're not actually... You know, I'm realizing I'm kind of out of my depth on all of this. But essentially, the conversation that I was having earlier is like, where do we go from here? Okay, so we have this thing that can replace writing, that can replace all these things, when I think what it would take is just discipline. I think it's discipline to learn the skill. Like, to become a good writer is inherently a good skill that many people would benefit from, but that means not using AI. And nobody but yourself can stop you from using AI. It doesn't, like, the teachers don't know what it looks like when you when you use AI to write. Some do, but a lot of teachers don't. And so it's like, okay, well, if you can get away with it, what are you getting away with? You're getting away with not learning. And I think that's kind of unfortunate. And so I guess all I'm really trying to say with all of this is I think there's benefit in putting the effort in learning the things and not replacing that or outsourcing that, because the only one that is going to be losing is you. And that doesn't mean not to learn the tools or to not learn the tools. Yeah. It just means that you got to move and act with intention. Because without that, you're fucked. Your brain's gonna turn to mush. Just like the librarian told you, if you didn't read all summer, your brain is gonna turn to mush. If you don't use your brain, it's not gonna work so well. So you should use it and think critically and question the things that AI feeds you. Question things that everyone feeds you or tells you. Because, you know, these are just tools. We can use them for good or we can use them for bad. So I think that's all I have to say on that. I don't know. This kind of helps me think more about it, but also just makes me realize, like, I don't have a fully thought out view or understanding of the implications of AI, I guess. I feel like a freaking, I don't know, what am I? Am I Gen Z? I feel like a freaking millennial when I'm like, AI. It just feels like such an old person thing to say. Yeah, geez, what's it going to be in the future? Are we also still going to be talking about AI, or are we not? Because I think people are going to be like, wait, actually, humans are pretty smart. We don't need some fucking robot telling us what to think and do. Let's just go back to our roots and live in the woods. Yeah, so I'm going to go do that now. I'm going to go live in the woods. Bye.